Hi, this is Bill. This is one of these when work actually is fun videos. I'm at 67 years old. Anyway, over here I've got a version 2 of my magnetic field retriever going at the moment. I did manage to figure out the software problems I was complaining about in a video way back. And I got these. I got this new tool going, and now it's knocking these retrievals out in like 3 minutes instead of a half hour. So that's really cool. But anyway, this here shows some of the interim results we've got so far. This is the total magnetic field here, and this here shows the difference from the IGRF model that we're retrieving from our measurements. And the red dots is like the first retrieval, the first prototype retrieval I had developed. It was like 3 months ago when I did this and showed this. It took me that long to figure out how to do the software stuff. So I don't know what that says about me, but maybe not good. But the blue dots is the version 2 of this retrieval that is more optimized and efficient, and without going into a lot of details, just trust me that it is. But here's the cool thing. Over here, we can, instead of just retrieving the total magnetic field, we can actually retrieve the polar angles of it, which means we actually get the full 3D components of the magnetic field. So one of those angles is what we call a theta angle. And again, what you see overlaid here is the model and the measurements, and this shows the difference. And so you can see the difference is pretty close to the model. Most of the time, there's a few places where the retrieval kind of blows up and doesn't work, but we're actually retrieving the full magnetic field for the first time ever remotely, as far as I know with this. Ever. Remotely. This here is something called a phi angle, and this is really interesting to me because when we pre-launched the instrument, there was a angle we needed to know, which is actually part of this angle that lines up the electric field polarization of the instrument to the whatever kind of coordinate system you're doing. And I was uncertain as to whether we were doing this right or not, because it didn't seem to be in the code. But what this shows is that it actually is being done right in the code, because most of the time the difference of this angle is pretty small, although there is a lot of scatter here. But anyway, this is what the angle is most of the time. And I think one of the problems you run into, you can see this here, is that it can't really distinguish between 0 degrees and 180. So I think these retrievals down here really do not represent any difference from those retrievals up there. It's just a degeneracy in the model. But as I say, most of the time it's getting it. So it answers this question, that we've got actually do have the angle right. And then here shows the wind retrieval. So we're getting about 40 meters per second. This one here actually just shows the magnetic field retrieval just as a straight on time series, as opposed to just a latitude coordinate. And so we've got a few orbits here. And yeah, so again, red and blue. The red's the older retrieval, the blue is the new one. And again, they're pretty close. You can see it varying a little bit from the model, which I think is actually a measure of like the error in the model, if you will, because the model is really good, but it's not perfect. And this is what I guess people think is scientifically interesting. And then here we've got this theta angle, and you can see this is drifting, it's oscillating around 0 about the model too. And again, so this is significant. So as I say, the actual vector of the magnetic field is changing a bit. And then, oops, here. Why aren't we getting... Oh, I think my computer's about to time out. Okay, my computer timed out, but it came back. So this is this phi angle, which actually relates to the instrument polarization lineup. It's aligned with the axis. But anyway, you can see how that's doing. Again, most of the time it's close to 0. So yeah, I think this is kind of cool. The last figure here is the wind as a time series. And that's nothing interesting. This here, I think, shows the magnetic field on the orbit tracks of what's been processed. So, yeah, it's yeah, this is pretty cool. So yeah, work could be actually more interesting than retirement to me, 'cause at least it's something I can do. Anyway, there's a NASA satellite they're going to launch next year called EASY, which stands for Electrojet Zeeman Imaging Explorer, which its purpose is to measure the full magnetic field, which is what I just demonstrated we could do with our instrument. And the people involved in that instrument don't really have a good, if you will, signal modeling model for this. And I've been saying, well, look, we've got a model that can do this. We should use ours. And now I could demonstrate that even with less than perfect data, this model is actually going to be able to do the job. And when I say less than perfect data, this EASY instrument is going to measure basically the four polarizations of the atmosphere. Our instrument only measures two of them, so we're pulling it out with two. We're going to easily pull it out with four, because the four measure different aspects of the field, which will allow better separation. So we kind of see it go a little noisy and unstable in our retrieval. It will fix that in this new instrument. So this is cool. I feel like super useful right now, which makes me feel good about myself. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, find excitement in your work so you don't necessarily have to retire at like 55 and a half. And yeah, work doesn't always have to suck. Anyway, see you next time.